All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Vigil team call for December 5th, 2023. The year is coming to a close quickly. A couple of things that I wanted to touch base on. If you guys are in um, a contract raise period, if you did not submit an application last week, you will have to submit an application every week for the rest of the month. So one application um, each week. That's non-controlled business um, each of the next 4 weeks. Okay. And I wanted to go over the calendar on that as well, real quick, because our month ends on December 29th. Okay. So you got to make sure that you have your application submitted by December 29th. I was going back and checking a couple of issue paid things for some people, and I noticed that, and it doesn't happen often, but I just want to make sure I say something, that every application you write needs to be entered into opt, whether it's a decline, a rated, whatever the case is, it needs to go into opt. I came across an Americal policy that an agent wrote in September that was never logged for them. So it's just important that we get all that information logged properly into opt. What it helps with a few things, right? So it helps us know when your start date is with the carrier, because some bonuses are based off of when you write your first application, and your first application could be a D, right? But let's say that you don't write with that carrier again for 6 more months, and then you try to hit their bonus, then you may not qualify for it because your first piece of business came 6 months prior. So the different contests and contracting periods are super important. And if you don't enter it into opt, Symmetry doesn't know necessarily, and or it could hurt your net place numbers, because if we don't know that you have it there, that you wrote this policy, it's still going to show up on the snapshot, right? So if it shows up on the snapshot, it'll show up as a negative number because that policy didn't go through. So it's just some weird things that we need to make sure that everything gets entered into opt. I know it's not optimal, and it's never fun to enter a decline, but trust me, going through my list of stuff, and I was looking back, and just it's been weird this year. I've had like 20% of my cases have been declined, which normally doesn't happen because I do a really good job when it comes to underwriting, or at least I feel like I do, right? So out of those 20% of the cases, though, 50% of them were declined because of misinformation in the MIB. So something you guys want to make sure, when someone is getting a decline, that you are following up with their MIB, so you can order the MIB for them if you have them on the phone, or on Zoom. You can order it for them and have it emailed directly to the client, because everyone that we're dealing with should have an email address. A lot of people think that it takes too long for that MIB report to come in. Bless you, Shania. If that that it takes too long, but if you actually do the email, it will come to them usually within 24 hours. So and that report is delivered. So just look at the reporting MIB, Kiana. It'll be at the end of an application. It'll usually say that, if a policy was rated, declined, or whatever the case is, they gained the information from this bureau or this organization or this agency, and you can request that information there. So if they have to contest it, they can contest it there. And it's usually available at the end of every application. So that'll be the Medical Information Bureau with a B. So we've had some cases overturned where we've been able to get people approved with the carrier of choice. It's taken some time. One of them took us 6 weeks for the information to get changed by the doctor. One of them took a whole year for it to get changed, but we were able to go back to that client or to that carrier and get them approved for a policy. So if you guys need help with that kind of stuff, just reach out and we can help you with that. Okay. The second thing I was going to mention is, and this is going to be a process. So all of these meetings are recorded and they were going on Vimeo, but Vimeo has made some really interesting changes. And let's say that I'm talking to Susan and Susan's walking around at the coffee shop and there's music in the background from the coffee shop. They will mute my entire video or they will put restrictions on my account. So I went back to look at some of the videos that we had recorded. And there was no audio on some of them, and that was why they were doing license questions or license things. So I'm actually going to be moving all of my videos to YouTube over the next few months. So anything that we recorded will be there. That way you guys have access to it, because it seems to be that there's a little bit more freedoms there. And then there's a new video platform coming up, but we can dive into that later. The next thing is, if you guys have Switchboard, they have a new social media module. It's free for 30 days. I'm not sure when that expires. That might expire at the end of this week. But take advantage of it. If you guys want to have a singular area where you can post to all of your social medias. So we already all have Switchboard, right? You can activate this module in there. I think it's $27 a month after the fact, but you can post and schedule to all platforms from there. So for those of you busy mamas, right, you can spend an hour out of your week or out of your few hours out of your month and pre-schedule all of your posts for that month. So it's not something you have to keep doing and going back to do every day. So it helps if you've got time blocking in your schedule for that. I made 2 very simple posts yesterday regarding the IULE for Mutual of Omaha and accidental death policy. And my inbox was overwhelmed, and it has been even till today, people asking me, hey, do I have that type of policy? Is that something we can look at for me? And it was just a very simple post regarding, hey, if you're my classmate and you don't have life insurance, I think this is a good, and you guys can all go look at my Facebook page and see what I posted, right? Today I posted another one about 401ks, and I've already had 4 people that said, hey, I've moved jobs a few times. I don't know what to do with my money. So now I'm having those conversations with them about their annuities, right? So if people reach out to you for that, we can help them with that as well. You can always do an FIF reset, or you can reach out to Matt or I directly, and we can help you with those as well. Okay, so wanted to make sure that you guys knew that. The other thing is, if you're submitting policies from here till the end of the year, there will be some service delays, right? Different people take off different times for the holidays. So some of the call centers will get down to a skeleton crew, and some of them will keep normal operating and be off Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas, and then Christmas or New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, depending on how it falls. So just make sure that you're looking at the service times for the different carriers. A lot of emails are already coming out letting us know when they're going to be closed. Like UHL and American Amicable, they'll send an email saying, hey, we're going to be closed Friday afternoon because we're going to have our Christmas party for our staff. So just different things like that to pay attention to as we move in towards the end of the year. But the one thing I will tell you, right, at the end of the year, during these last 4 weeks, something that happens because of those skeleton crews is they tend to push policies through a little faster. So that underwriting time gets to be a little bit less. I've seen cases where, we've submitted something that might be questionable, not knowing if it's going to be approved or not, right? That could go one way or the other, and approved in 24 hours, or approved the same day. I wrote an IUL just yesterday, and it was approved right away. Like it was, and I had a deposit for it this morning, so I've noticed that with their service times, because they don't want that backlog of things to happen as they are getting towards the end of the year, moving into the new year. So they like to leave, they like to move into the new year with as clean of a palette as they can for the year, because they try to get everything off the books that they can so they can show what's been issued for that calendar year. So All right. Any questions so far?
I have one.
Yes.
So even though we don't submit apps, we still need, if we wrote them and they haven't been submitted to get approved or denied, we still have to put them into ops? Or
No.
once?
No,
Okay.
once they've been submitted to the carrier. So like with
Okay.
SPLI, if you've got a decision on that,
Yeah.
then yeah. But if they're just sitting and you haven't actually submitted it over to the carrier, then no.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a couple of those that I'm waiting on right now for like December 15th on accidental death policies. I've got them. The client has already signed it. I've already signed it. I just need to press submit to get it over to the carrier so it'll be official. So yeah, no, only on the ones that you've actually submitted over. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Is everyone filling out their Perform Dash survey on Saturdays or Monday if you log in on Monday? So every Saturday when you log into HQ, there's a 4-question survey that pops up. And that will help me, that'll help Matt, that'll help Jama, depending what team you're on, help you guys through your week. And I haven't seen a whole lot of those coming through. So if you guys just make a note, it happens on Saturday morning. It's an automatic pop-up on your desktop or your computer, depending what you're using for HQ. And it's real simple to use, just to click through it. So it asks you how many hours did you spend setting appointments? How did you utilize your time? Were you mindful of how you use your time? So the questions are a little bit different for me. So I'm sorry if I did say those right, because we have about a dozen questions that we have to answer as an agency owner. And now there's going to be a few more things too. And it'll be good for you guys as well, because you guys can get feedback on us as an agency owner. That's launching next Wednesday. So as team members, you guys get to rate your leadership as well. So it'll be good feedback for us, right? So if there's something you feel like we're lacking on or we're not able to help you on, you can put that in the survey. And we're not going to know what the individual results are, because some questions are anonymous and some questions are directly tied back to you regarding your activity. So we'll see your responses for your activity, but the questions for leadership as a whole will go into a bank, and then it will get a score based off of that. So I don't want anyone to feel that they should not fill out that survey because they feel like, hey, Michael's going to know that was me that said that about him, or, Matt's going to know that, that I said this about him, or Jama. It's not that way. And I've always been this way. You can ask Shania, you can ask Val. I prefer that you guys are as honest as possible with anything that comes out, right? If you guys ever feel like I'm failing you up as a leader as well, just let me know, right? I mean, that's the only way I can grow and help you guys, is if I'm lacking in a certain department. And I've learned a lot, in the 6 years that I've been here. I've learned a lot. I've tried to be better. I try to grow weekly. I try to grow daily, but I try to grow weekly for each of the meetings that we have. That way I can be a better leader for you all as well. So, and then the other thing, starting the new year, I will do, and we've done this before, but we'll have, so you guys know that there's the daily huddle that goes on for SFG success, right? So what I want to do though is I want to host that personally in this, in this room, where you guys can just pop on and ask questions, different things like that. And we'll have those different topics available for you. We've tried doing it, but there wasn't a whole lot of interaction with it. But so we can do things like casework every day, right? So if you guys have questions for that casework, hey, we can log on early before the day gets going and ask Michael these questions, or we could ask each other, whatever the case is. If you guys need help with writing an annuity, we can go over that. The questions to ask people as you're sitting with them to bring up the opportunity to uncover those annuity questions, because a lot of people don't know what to do with their money when they're changing jobs, or when they're getting ready for retirement. How many people do you guys talk to that are getting so close to retirement right now? You know what I mean? they're buying a house, they're getting close to retirement. They have questions about, long-term care. They have questions about assisted living. They have all these questions, but they don't know where to turn to. So if you just ask questions, those are things that we can help them with. And they're very easy ways for you guys to make that additional, $5, 6, 7, $10,000 just by asking a single question. I did some annual reviews over the weekend and yesterday with clients that I've helped with either life insurance or annuities. And one of the people that I called, I had done $250,000 for this man on an annuity about 5 years ago, and his annuity is now at 389,000, something like that, right after 5 years. And he says, "Hey, Michael, I've got another $500,000. Do you think that we can work on moving that over to you and you helping me with that, because you've done a really good job helping me safeguard my money?" And one of the things that he was saying was that some of his client, or not his clients, but his old coworkers had been losing money. And a lot of them started around the same area, right around $1 million. And some of them have less than $500,000 right now because of the way that the market is performed and their financial advisors aren't doing anything for them. So just something to really consider. I mean, there's a lot of people that need our help. We have to learn to ask the right questions when it comes to that.
Do you have a template that we could use to ask people those questions? Because I know there's several people at my husband's work who are getting ready to retire after the first of the year that I know my husband's company has a 401k, so I would love to talk to some of those guys and see about possibly getting them into an annuity.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really simple. I mean, the FIF reset form that's on HQ has a lot of those questions that you can ask. And you can pose those even just like on your social media. You can text them to people, you can message them to people. If people are getting ready to retire or they're getting ready to move jobs, you don't want to go right in for the kill. Congratulate them. Hey, congratulations on your new job. It can be a challenging time. It can be, a very confusing time on what to do with your 401k. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to help you answer those questions and, just gather information, and then we can do a call together. Matt can do a call with them. TI can. TI is very knowledgeable when it comes to retirements as well, because we all worked at Northwestern Mutual, so we asked a lot of those same questions. And there are those forms, like I said, and you can also do additional training in Quility U that allows you to get certified in those different areas. But, and I stress this as a but, right? Focus on the thing that's going to make you money, which is writing policies now, and let us help you with the more advanced stuff, okay? Because it takes time. It takes a lot of time to go through that training. And then on top of that, you have to do additional carrier product training for every single different type of annuity. So instead of you going in and doing all of these trainings and you're only going to use one product from one carrier, I'd rather say, hey, Justine, this is going to be a great option for Athene. This is the product. Do this carrier training in Reg Ed. That way you can get credit for it. Because, I mean, you can get lost in the weeds, and it's just, there's so much information out there. All the training is in Quility U. So you just go to
Hey.
Yes.
So I heard you say that, but so my issue is for new agents or agents who, like, it's been 6 months, so I consider myself a new agent. I hear you say Quility U, but I don't know where to go. So that's why I'm asking, either can you do a walkthrough or give me more information other than just saying, oh, it's here, this is where you go, if I'm still clueless.
Yeah, so yeah, you go to HQ. That's what I'm saying. You got to, like, there's the direct steps that we take, right? When you go to HQ, in the top right-hand corner, there is the summit. So when you go to summit, it's going to walk you through the beginning steps like you're a brand new agent. And there's also a link for Quility U. I will show you the other way to get to Quility U as well, but some of those things are going to be locked out. And that was part of the change that they made recently, is until someone gets through the basics of Basecamp, they will not be able to unlock any advanced markets unless we open that up for them. So give me a second and I will open up my dashboard. Do you have a question, Susan?
I do. So if we do have those annuity clients, can we just, refer them to you and get the split?
Oh yeah, 100%. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just wanted to put that out there so that, because honestly, at this point, I don't want to learn all the annuity that I would have to. I'd rather just say,
Yep.
here you go, like, let's do this. And
Yep.
then is the best way to maybe just text you, say, I have this. Because basically, when you told me that, when you explained about the 250 to 389K, that's an excellent social media post. Like, hey, are you losing money? One of my clients just did this, right? If you wrote one of those, I would copy that all over my Instagram
Oh yeah.
or and Facebook. Like, hey, you need help with your 401k because I know the market's tanking and crypto's fun, but
Yeah. No, I'll say this. I mean, my crypto account's up like 40% just in the
mine
last 2
too.
weeks.
Mine, yeah. I mean, anyway, we could probably talk about that later.
Yep. So here's a perfect example of the Perform Dash. I asked them to turn on the same alerts that you guys get, right? So I can see what's happening. So Perform Dash, activate survey. It'll be, and it shows you right up there. It's 4 questions, right? So this past week I spent how many hours appointment setting? I'm going to snooze that real quick. But Kiana, if you go right here, you go to training and you click on Quility U, it's going to open this up, and then you just click on go to Quility U. And everyone's Quility U looks a little bit different based on what they've done, what they've accomplished. But the beginning should look like this, right? So you can scroll down, come to the training center. And this site is a little slow sometimes, but you've got your new agent onboarding, right? You have your product solution training. So this will give you all of the certifications that you need. And you can see all of mine are complete. I am what is considered a subject matter expert in every product that we have with Quility. I have been doing this for 10 years, guys. So it's not like, everyone can come in and be a product subject expert, or a subject matter expert their first year or two. It takes time and it takes a lot of dedication to honing your craft. I can have a conversation with just about anyone when it comes to any of the products that we offer through Symmetry outside of National Life Group, and that's something I'm working on. I'm doing training with them all this week. That way I get better at that as well. I had stayed away from National Life Group for a longest time because of their service times, but they are becoming better, right? They're working on their product offerings and their service work as well. So Kiana, I hope that helps you when it comes to Quility U.
Yes, thank you. That refreshes my memory.
Yeah. And then if you go to if you go to SFG quotes, there's a lot of resources that I have put there as well. A lot of like product trainings. If you click down here at the very bottom, we have SoundCloud, we have the YouTube carrier trainings, we have the SFG YouTube channel, and all of that's right there at the bottom. And then if you click on the debt-free life, it takes you right into some of the other resources that we have available for that. Yeah. So
thank you.
You got it. Anyone else need a walkthrough, any guidance on anything within HQ? Do you guys need to know? Or do you guys, let me do this actually. Let me share my screen one more time. That way you guys can see where some of the resources are. Because HQ, I mean, it's not the most user-friendly. Although it does have this search bar right here, right? The magnifying glass. You can type in just about anything, and it'll give you what you're looking for. So like the other day, and this happened to me like 5 or 6 times recently, right? So someone was asking me for a Spanish script. So if you just type in Spanish, it will bring you to the different training scripts. So there's the best script in Spanish. There's the mortgage protection sheet in Spanish. There's the real sales script in Spanish. So I mean, that's one place to find it. The other place is just click on resources, and we have a bunch of the things here, right? Where it comes to the different handbooks that we have, the levels of leadership, how to grow, move up in the levels of leadership. We have, so this is a good thing to know as well. And I've utilized this a couple times. You guys have known my struggles with some people in the upline, right? So there's a speak up helpline. So if you've ever feel like you've been mistreated or, something along those lines, this is here for you. And it seems like it's kind of hidden to me, in my personal opinion. I think it should be something that has its own thing, right? Like a microphone or something like that says speak up here and have its own, but it's here. And then if you come over here, let me unclick this. If you go to marketing, there's a lot of brand and product marketing that you can use here. So you scroll down, it tells you what you can and can't do regarding the brand. Like you can't use Quility, the Quility logo, to market yourself, but you can use Symmetry powered by Quility, and it talks about that in the brand guides as well, right? Has all the different social media things that you can use. So it'll open up here, and then you can request certain marketing tools that will be branded for you. They will also create a specific logo for you with the Symmetry logo. So we'll use Susan as an example. So it'll be the Symmetry logo, and then underneath in the correct font and colors and aspect ratios, it'll say the Stapleton Agency, so, or whatever your agency name is. And they do all of that for you. They teach you how to grow your business on these different platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. They have all the different best practices. They have what the guidelines are for them, right? So like you're not allowed to take a Quility branded post and paste your logo directly on top of it. You know what I mean? So they have different things. You can share their stuff, but then down here, they've got the customize your own templates, and you can use this in conjunction with Switchboard with that social media module to make your posts and post them throughout the week. It's just a great, simple way for you to, grow your business. They have the pre-written ones as well. Okay. One thing that I will share with you guys, with you all, and you all can use mine, or if you have your own agency page set up already. But I like this. I do a lot of this kind of posting. I'll go to my blog. I'll find something here that's interesting. So I'll take this, right? This will be a headline copy, right? And then I'll just do a live post that way you guys can see it, right? So we'll go to Facebook, and I'll show you guys exactly what I do. Nothing that I do is a secret, right? Everything, I want you guys to be just as successful as we are. So here, what I'll do is I'll use that headline, right? And then I'll come back to it. I'll copy this image. And then come back here. I'll take this little headline, a little bit more of this text here. I'll enter that there. And then I'll click on the actual article, and I'll copy the URL, right? I will post the URL as well. And if you don't like the picture, you can always just do this, and it'll post, right? So when they click on the photo, it'll take them directly to it. And then I'm going to cross post this to my business page. And I now have a post that's going to drive traffic to my agency page, right? And you guys can do the same thing. You can use my blog articles and whatnot as well. You can just take my link off of it if you don't want to use it, right? So debt-free life snowball, and then a little bit about it, get them, interested in the article a bit, and then they click on the photo and it takes them directly to the page. And I'm glad I did that, because that one is not linking correctly. So I will have to change it. It should work the same way. Well, I'm glad that oh, that's because I didn't finish my name. anyway, but I probably did something trying to rush through it. But it's pretty simple. You know what I mean? We have all these tools available to us that you can use from your own pages as well. That's a ton of marketing material that you guys can use. And that's all yours, you know what I mean? So you guys use it. Questions? Comments? Concerns? Wins? Nothing?
Well, I have wins. I mean, I've written 3 applications and only one of them has been denied so far. The other 2, I'm waiting for the okay to submit them. They're all signed and everything. I just need to submit them to the carrier once I get the approval from my client, which I've been in contact with her, but she's not responding. So I don't know what to do about that.
So here, let me do this real quick. Okay, I stopped sharing. That's actually a really simple one, right? So let me give you a response that I sent someone, and this comes from the Jeremy Minor training. Where is it? Okay. I said, hey, Ruben, tried reaching out a few times, didn't hear back. Where do we go from here? And just that line, where do we go from here? It's very unassuming, right? You're not asking them to make a decision. You're just not saying, hey, you know, where do we go from here? And it's in the NEPQ training from Jeremy Minor. You guys can find all that training on HQ as well. There's 8 weeks of it. And his response in 30 seconds, and this is after so that was September 16th when we had talked. I sent that on September 29th. And there was a bunch of texts in between, right? So, I mean, there was probably, I reached out to them, I don't know how many times, because they said it was important. Within 30 seconds, I had a response from him. You know, it's just a very unassuming text. It puts the ball in their court, doesn't make you look desperate or anything like that. You know, and you're just, hey, where do we go from here? Pretty simple, right?
Especially with the holiday season coming up. She's a single mom and she travels a ton these days. And so I thought it was really important to her to get some of the policies rolling for her and her son. But then we got down to it and Shania was there with me. And she's like, okay, well, I need to like look this over one more time before I reach back out. And then she was out of town again. And so I waited until yesterday to reach out to her, you know, was trying to be friendly and asked her if she had fun on her trip and stuff like that, and asked her if she looked over her policies yet, and I heard nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of that. Remember when I told you last time, right? And I understand why you guys did it the way you did, you know, but you just tell them, hey, look, while you guys are thinking about it, the carrier has to have time to think about it too, you know. So, and if it does get approved immediately, you have 30 days to make a decision, right? So, and Val, I don't know how many times we use that line, right? We, you know, where we knew it was in their best interest, they knew it was in their best interest, but they weren't. They were the type of people where they knew they should make the right, they should choose right away, right? But they weren't going to. And when we did that, and then we called them, you know, 2 days later, because it used to take a little bit longer, we say, hey, you know what? Just wanted to tell you, congratulations, your policy is approved as applied for. And how many of those stayed on the books, Val?
100%. I never had anyone after that scenario say, oh yeah, we decided we're really not going to go forward. It's just such a little objection that they use, that it's just, when you use that, it's just, that one always floors me, how quickly you can jump over it. I mean, it's just a little hurdle. It's like, oh, okay. And yep, 100%.
Yep. Hope that helps for the future, Justine. You know, it's just one of the, and it's a hard one, especially when it's a warm referral or a warm market, right? Because it's a little too close to home, and that's where you lean on your mentor, whoever is helping you. So like in that case, Shania, right? Shania steps in at that point. She says, hey, now that we've got this completed, what we're going to go ahead and do is get this submitted over to the carrier. And it's their job now to take a look at this, make sure everything looks correct, and get your approval, get them to give you an approval. While they are waiting on the approval, this gives you time to think about it. And then when it does get approved, you have 30 days from then to review the documents to make sure this is everything that you wanted.
The hard part with that one is she was wanting to pay yearly. And with yearly, it said on the application that at time of approval, the draft gets pulled no matter what. And that was like kind of her dump on that, is she's like, well, I'm about to be paying $1,000 in one lump sum. Like, I want to sleep on it. And so that was kind of where it was. We didn't have a choice to like delay payment or anything like that. So it was probably best that she thought about it, because I mean, a yearly payment is a lot, and that's what she was wanting, but at the same time it comes out at once. So I didn't know that.
Is that move?
Yeah, it literally said on there that because she wanted to pay annually, that you literally had to draft the whole year premium at the time of approval.
So that's because of the payment selection you guys chose, right? So in the future on something like that, if you get to that point, you can go back and unlock the application and switch it to not a draft, but pay by mail, right? And just to take away that objection, say, hey, we're going to get this submitted over to the carrier. We're not going to take any payment from you today. You can still pay this annually. And when this does come back to approve, what'll happen is we'll make a phone call over to Mutual of Omaha together, and we'll take the payment over the phone. Okay.
How do you unlock the application? Because there was a discrepancy on her email that
We went all the way to signatures. So when we go all the way to the signature, we can't unlock it. You have to start a new one.
You actually can. And as soon as we end this meeting, I can stop the recording and we can pop on there and I can show you how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can unlock an application. You just have to do it manually. You have to go back to that section and click the unlock section.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. The only thing that you can't change is like pertinent information, right? So like you can't change the sex or the date of birth or anything like that, right? Anything that's been captured before the HIPAA, you can't change any of that information. So
okay.
So it's her email.
Yeah, her email was put in wrong.
Yeah, and you can fix that on the like on the email signature. You can do it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and if she wanted to, because another thing too was she wanted to make sure she had enough whole life in her policy that she was wanting. Can we go back in and change that amount as well, even though she's already signed it?
Unfortunately, that you cannot do. So you would have to
Do a whole new application?
Yep.
Okay.
And in that case, you might have to call Mutual of Omaha and ask them to purge that. So before you do that, what you want to do is save that form and download the PDF so you have all that information already. So you don't have to ask her for her social and all that other stuff again, right? So it'll all be on that application. You can just use that. There used to be a way, and this was cool, right, Val? Because we used to do multiple policy. We do like 20-year and a 30-year, and you could duplicate the application. They took that away because there was a lot of unscrupulous agents that were duplicating applications and then changing the product type and writing disabilities and all kinds of other things that caused a lot of problems. So. Okay. Stop.